I'm Kate Noble. I'm here at Shine Yoga in Cincinnati, and I'm coming with you today with a sequence I'm going to call a Let It Go, Slow, Grounded Flow. So this practice is just a little bit of me sharing my practice with you, and I am meeting you today on a day where I'm pretty fatigued. So I've been working real hard to deal with some unexpected challenges, and there's a lot that I don't have control over, so I'm sure a lot of you can relate. And while I am feeling fatigued, I know some movement and breath and some mental release is just what I need. So I think today's practice is going to take about 40-ish minutes. It's mostly near the ground poses. That doesn't mean relaxing or necessarily gentle. So there'll be some postures that might feel a little challenging. There's a lot on your knees. So if a long time on your knees is not good for you, you might pick a different practice. And if you are going to continue on, you might want a blanket to put underneath your knees. And then for some of you, maybe some yoga blocks if you have them. You don't need them, but the yoga blocks can make some of the posture just feel a little more relaxing and easy, and that's really what I'm going for in this sequence. So tapping into the body, moving, breathing, kind of working through the inner energetic tangles and cultivating a sense of balance and harmony. I want to remind you before we start that nothing should hurt, and if anything hurts or makes you feel dizzy or lightheaded or lose your breath, you should pause and maybe not do that thing or modify it. And if any of those symptoms persist, definitely check in with someone that can give you some medical advice if you're not feeling good. Okay, so we're going to do a very short centering, and then we'll get into movement. So if you will sit up nice and tall. Doesn't matter what legs you're taking for, I can't talk this evening. It doesn't matter what position you put your legs, just so that you feel pretty comfortable. And then let your eyes close and allow yourself a moment to start to focus more fully inward. So in the yoga tradition, this is called pratyahara, and we're acknowledging the way that our senses connect us to the outer world outside of ourselves. Our thoughts and feelings about things do that too. So we're going to just begin to move the focus from what's happening outside of yourself, turning awareness more fully on inside yourself. Allowing yourself to meet yourself as you are, all the feelings that feel like good feelings, all the feelings that feel like bad feelings, and just allowing yourself a moment to be authentic in your sense of self, in your center, in your seat. Allow your breath to deepen, so you might just take a little bit longer inhale, be more patient with your inhale, and more complete with your exhale. If you would, bring your hands together in front of your heart, and you might set a particular intention for this practice, thinking about how you want to move in the practice, what you might want to pay special attention to today. I'm going to chant the sound of Om, and if you'd like to, please join along with me at home, remembering that the sound of Om carries a sacred sonic symbol of our interconnectedness, helping us to remember the big picture of the universe and not to get too caught up in the small details of our lives. It also allows breath and energy to move a little more freely once we start getting into movement and breath. So for the Om now, breathing first out through your nose and then back in. Return to your rhythmic breath and allow yourself a moment to really establish a smooth rhythm where you're breathing in fully and out completely. If you know Ujjayi breath, you might practice with the Ujjayi breath, so there's a little whisper in the back of your throat as you breathe, just giving your mind something to focus on. And then bowing your head, and just taking a moment to be here, to let go of the heaviness of the day, to allow yourself to think about clearing your inner energetic space as much as you can. And then with your exhale, release your hands and open your eyes. Okay, so we're gonna come to hands and knees. I'm gonna move my blocks out of the way for a little bit of time here. Come to hands and knees. And then we're gonna go right into puppy pose. So you're just gonna walk your hands out in front of you. For puppy, you wanna think about keeping your hips over your knees. And then when I practice puppy, I like to come onto my fingertips. It just helps me to feel like I'm clearing my wrist a little bit better. It allows you an opportunity to strengthen your arms. So for puppy, you wanna lift your armpits up, stretch your hips back, and then with your arms still lifting, let your heart sink down. So I'm not collapsing to the floor. It's as if my arms are like an anchor for a hammock. So my heart can be the thing that hammocks down. And then do come onto flat hands and walk your hands to the right. Keep your left hip pressing back in space. Take a good, full, deep chest breath. Really let your left side ribs expand. And when you exhale, envision letting go of any excess tension you've been carrying around with you today. And then walk your hands to the left, pressing your right hip back in space. Full, deep chest breath. Good, then we're gonna come back to the middle and come lay down on your stomach. Stretch your arms overhead, point your toes behind you, put your forehead on the floor and make your body as long as you can. Take a big breath in there and exhale fully. And then slide your elbows under your shoulders and just rock gently side to side. Think about softening your side waist. Couple more times there. And then settle back to the center and just bend your right knee and circle your ankle and wiggle your toes. And then same thing on the other side. Check in with your breath. Sometimes laying on your belly or in back bends, side bends, we kind of lose our breath. So make sure you keep your breath. And then we're gonna do a core activating pose. So hug your elbows in really tight towards you and in towards each other. Press down to your knees. Hover, hold here, and think about drawing your low belly in and up. Think about keeping the belly toned, but try to breathe into your ribs, front, back, sides, top, bottom. Exhale, lower down. Slide your hands back in line with your mid or lower ribs, and then sweep your heart forward, up cobra. In your cobra, make sure you're still keeping that low belly gently toned, and then try to squeeze your elbows and shoulders back so you're curling open through your heart. And then push up onto your knees and back to child's pose, hips back towards your heels. Take a full deep breath into your back body. All right, we're gonna step the right foot forward and your left knee will stay back and down on the ground. So this is where those blocks or a block or, at home, a step stool can work. I'm gonna switch sides real quick. So you just put the block along your front foot, and that way you get a little more belly space, a little more breathing space. And if you're on the more flexible side, you might bring your hands a little more forward and let your hips start to soften forward and down. Take a good, deep, full body breath here. And you can squeeze the leg that's back, so for right now for me and maybe you is your left, so you can squeeze your left butt cheek and that'll help release your left front psoas a little bit. Good, release. And we're just gonna switch sides. The right knee is back and down, left foot comes forward. And again, hands can be up on blocks or books or little step stool. And in this posture, gravity is working on your body. So whenever gravity is working on your body, there really isn't any need to push. So let your arms support your body weight and just practice letting the tension go. So instead of creating more or adding to it, just let yourself soften, Good, full, whole body breaths. And then we're gonna step back. Let's come to downward facing dog, both hands flat, hands right underneath your shoulders, maybe just a tad bit wider. Take a couple breaths in the basic form. And then as much as it feels good for you, just move around a little bit. So you can pedal your legs. You can let your hips rock side to side. Maybe there's other movement that would feel better for you. Stay connected to your breath. And then we're gonna walk feet to hands and inhale. Come all the way up, standing tall, arms reaching up overhead. Bring your hands together in front of your heart. Close your eyes for a moment, connecting back into your breath. And then with your exhale, release your hands down, breathe in, reach up nice and tall. Waterfall down, so bend your knees, move your hips back, lift your heart up, and then as you start to move into the forward fold, let it be a true hip hinge, where you think about laying your belly on your thighs, let your head relax down. If it would feel good for you, start to stretch your legs towards straight. Try to keep your spine nice and long. And then step back, downward facing dog. Come down to your knees and hinge forward to knee plank, belly strong. Exhale, slow, lower your chest to the floor. We're gonna take this low cobra with your arms wide. So take your hands forward in front of your shoulders and really wide. And doing this, you'll get to use your arms a little bit, but it's gonna make you use your core more for your cobra. So activating your core. Root the tailbone down, hug your low belly in and up, stretch your heart forward, and then try to keep your belly strong as you curl your shoulders back. Stretch your heart forward and up. And then exhale, release, place your hands, curl up cobra, elbows in, shoulders back, belly strong, that you're arcing up, not just pushing up. So to keep a nice even curve in your back. Lower your chest back down, knee plank, child's pose. Good, full, sweet, deep breath there. We're gonna come back in for another round of low lunge. Take your right foot forward. This time, walk your right foot a little bit off further to the right and turn your toes outward. You want to think about keeping your knee angled right over ankle and toes. Again, your arms are helping hold your body weight. Inhale, stretch your spine long and forward. And then as much as it feels good, maybe bring your left elbow to the floor, maybe right elbow to the floor. And again, you could use the block for that. So you could put your elbow on a block or both elbows on a block. And we're just gonna hang out here for a couple of breaths. As we come to these more static postures, really allow yourself to focus on the quality of your breath, the fullness, the evenness, the smoothness. We'll switch sides. Just push your hands into the ground and push your upper body upright and switch. Right knee's going back this time, left foot is forward. Walk the left foot a little bit out to the left, rotate it out slightly, knee over ankle over toes. Stretch your spine long and forward, and then maybe right elbow, maybe left elbow. You can let your head relax down there as long as it feels good. Just remember the theme of today's class, letting it go. So we're not forcing it out, we're not pushing on ourselves, we're not stretching, we're creating the conditions for release of tension. So for there to be a sense of release, generally your body's gonna appreciate some sense of support. So you feel your arms, your feet, your knees on the ground, and because of that support, you can soften deeper towards the earth. Good, we're gonna come back out of that. We're coming to downward facing dog. You could pick puppy if you prefer, if you wanna keep it all real close to the ground. Holding for a couple breaths. Move a little bit if you want to there. And then hinge forward to plank pose, either on your feet or your knees, your preference. Let it be a slow lower. Try to move in a straight body line. When your belly hits the ground, stretch forward and then curl up and back. Exhale, slow lower. Child's pose, hips back on your heels. You can do puppy if child's pose doesn't feel good. Child's pose is one of the harder poses for my body. Just my joints don't bend great that way. So if you experience that too, if child's pose is not a relaxing pose, you could take a block. I'm gonna keep mine high for the greatest capacity to release tension, but you could turn it sideways too. And once you're in a posture where you have a sense of support, so either you feel the ground and or you feel the support of the block, then just practice letting your body soften a little bit more. Think about letting any held tension dissolve. Give it an outlet. Very often awareness of that tension existing within us is the way we open the door for that tension to have the capacity to leave. So increasing sensitivity and awareness as a pathway to release tension. All right, we're gonna come out of that one and we're staying on our knees. I'm gonna mirror you for this one, so I'll take my left leg out to the side and you take your right leg out to the side. And just wanna let it go as far to the side as it feels good for you. I'm very flexible in this direction, so I can let my hips go with me and off to the side a little bit. So just go to where you feel a nice, comfortable, gentle, nurturing, kind stretch that makes you feel like you're releasing tension. And then you can stay up on your hands or come down to your elbows. And then you can play with hinging forward and back. And just feel into what feels like a sweet spot for you, where it's like, oh yeah, it really does feel like I'm able to let go of some tension here. And we'll hold this for several breaths. I think it's important to be able to have a sense of whether you feel your whole body expanding with your breath or not, with your inhale. And if you're not able to feel some expansion, you might be pushing or stretching too hard. So see if you can come to a place where you feel the pulsation of not just your breath, but the prana, the energy that moves with your breath. All right, so we're gonna crawl your right foot in a little bit. It's still staying out to the side. And you're gonna put your left hand in line with your left knee to the side. This is a place where some of you might like a block. Put your hand up on a block. So you're leaning into your left hand, your left knee, and your right arm will reach up overhead. Take a deep whole body breath into belly and chest, and then just stretch across your arms, across your chest, between your shoulder blades so that there's grounding through the bottom arm and reaching through the top arm. And then turn your palm towards the crown of your head and reach alongside your ear. Good, deep breath there. And then just take a moment, you can move this arm in any way that feels good for you. Moving your shoulder, elbow, wrist, fingers. Good, and then come upright, still keeping your right leg out to the right. We're gonna take Parikasana, that's gate pose. So for this one, you turn your foot outward, so your foot points away from you. And depending on your flexibility, you might have to pick and choose between having your toes on the ground and your legs straight. So some of you might be able to stretch your legs straight, but your toes lift. And others of you might be able to get your toe down, but your knee bends. So just whatever feels good for you. Then push down through your base, activate and rise up through your core, stretch both arms up overhead, and then lean to your right. Now your right hand, your elbow might rest on your thigh. It could move down the leg, just make sure you're not pushing on your kneecap. And then lift up through your chest. Let your eyes look up towards the sky if that feels okay for you. And then some of you might feel comfortable to reach the top arm a little more over the side. Maybe let the bottom hand slide further down the leg. So watch real quick. I could fold deeper if I let myself collapse, But you want to think about keeping the legs grounding and your spine long. So it really is a sense of this posture is about opening up. Good, come upright. Let's take that whole sequence on the other side. So kneeling on your right knee, taking your left leg out to the left. Let it move as far as it feels good. Remember, we're looking for a gentle stretch here, not a super intense stretch. You can be up on your hands or come down to your elbows. And then as much as it feels good, you might hinge a little forward and back. And then feel for that sweet spot where it just really feels nurturing. And take a couple of breaths there. Full body inhale. Maybe even have a sense of your skin expanding, becoming more luminous with that inhale. And with the exhale, to really give yourself time to let go. Come upright, the left leg slide in a little bit, and then you're walking your right hand so it lines up on the outside of your right knee. Again, you can put your hand on the block if you like, and reach your top arm straight up. Hug your belly in just gently, and then push down through your bottom arm and reach up through your top arm, open up. You might think about opening up the energetic pathways so your energy can flow clearer, freer, stronger. Stretch your arm alongside your ear. Full deep chest breath. So you're in a side bend and you might be a little back bending. So again, this is where the breath can get a little bit stuck. So you have to really keep it focused and moving. Move your top arm in whatever way might feel good for you. And then you're gonna come all the way back upright, gate pose, your left toes turn outward. Left elbow can come to the left thigh, right arm reaches up, and then lean over. And if it feels good for you, you might reach that arm a little lower. But again, try to stay stable in your core so you're not just folding and collapsing. Good, inhale, come upright. Taking puppy, so you're staying on your knees, stretching your arms forward. Armpits lift up, hips stretch back. Maybe your forehead touches the floor. If you're on the more flexible side, and now that we're a little more open, you might lift your chin and press not your armpits, but your heart towards the floor. That's Anahatasana, that heart chakra opener. Walk your hands back, let your hips push back towards child's pose. Breathe into your lower back, let your lower back round a little bit here. All right, we're gonna come back to our knees in a little bit, but for now we're gonna come lay on our backs. And as you arrive on your back, give your knees a good hug into your chest. If it would feel good, you can rock and roll a little bit. And then keep your right leg in and stretch your left leg down long. Gently stretch your right leg towards the sky. Point flex your foot, circle ankle, wiggle toes. Switch. Left leg in, right leg down. Try to ground the right leg as much as you're thinking about trying to get the left leg up. And then stretch the left leg up. It's fine if it doesn't go all the way straight. That's not important. Point and flex your ankle, circle ankle, wiggle toes. The thing that's really important for your muscles that we're just allowing them to elongate, that we're allowing them to have some pliability. So a lot of these landmarks that I think that people look for in yoga posture isn't really necessary. It's not necessary that the leg goes all the way straight. Bend both knees. We're going to take a couple rounds of windshield wipers, your feet wider than your hips, and let your knees gently rock side to side. Notice the word choicing. It's gentle and easy. There's a sense of fluid, a new word, flow and fluidity. Let your knees drop over to the right and stretch your left arm overhead. Take a deep breath, all in the left column of your body. Switch sides, legs to the left, right arm overhead, and from your belly, think about pushing down through the right knee as you lift up through the right lung and right arm. Okay, so this is a reclined hip opener. This is half happy baby. We're gonna start with both knees bent and then bring your right knee towards your right armpit. You can hold on behind your knee or reach up for your foot. Press the right knee down. Your left hip will get light, it'll lift up, and then shift to the left. So your left hip goes down even though your right knee lifts up. And then just rock it a couple times like that. You can let your leg kind of rotate in the hip socket a little bit. Just think about oiling your hips here. And then now do your best to keep the left hip down and move the right knee towards the floor. Easy breath. Stretch the left leg out straight. Try to press the left quad down. And then depending on your flexibility, so if you're more flexible, you can keep your hand on your foot, but bring your hand to the inside of your foot. And if you live in a tighter body, just put your hand on the inside of your knee and stretch your right leg out to the right. Stretch your left arm overhead. Try to keep the left hip pressing down. Deep breath. We're gonna switch sides. Half happy baby with the right knee bent to start, so we can do the hip rocking, hip oiling. Just rocking side to side. And then keep the right hip pressing down. Try to press the left knee down, both hips equally activated to the floor. Stretch the right leg towards straight, try to press it down. Stretch your right arm overhead, full breath. And then switch your grip, inner knee or the foot, and stretch the leg to the side. Full body breath. Complete inhale, new energy in, and then let the old stuff go. Allow there to be an element of release in your practice, gentleness. Good, release, and then we'll take full happy baby. You're working both knees towards your armpits, and you can just rock a little bit, roll a little bit there. And then for a moment, resting butterfly, soles of your feet together, the knees dropped out to the sides. Let your hands rest on your solar plexus, so fingertips on solar plexus, and then the rest of your hand on your lower rib. And when we're dealing with control, we're dealing with this third chakra energy center, the solar plexus. In Sanskrit, it's called Manipura, and it actually means jeweled city. I think it's such a beautiful analogy, right? So while in the West, we think of this as a power center, really it's a center of balance, in control, and we might reframe it in coordination and cooperation. So allowing ourselves just to soften a bit here. If you feel a lot of heat there, to acknowledge it and think about cooling it. And any part of you that's been struggling with control, with your sense of feeling out of control or the world out of control around you, just allow yourself to have a moment of compassion for that feeling. It shouldn't be surprising that we might feel that way. But then to allow ourselves to soften a little bit and to maybe think about, the happy surprises in your life. Maybe a moment to consider, remember that there have probably been many silver linings. And so just taking some time to maybe be a little more gentle in this time that can feel really, really quite chaotic for a lot of us. All right, we're gonna take cactus. So we're bending our elbows and bringing our knees in towards our chest. Press your shoulders and your hips both down, but try to let your lower back lift into a tiny little arch. And then drop your knees to the right. Keep your left shoulder pressing back and down. I like to take my hand and my knee and push the knee down, and then with my core muscles, push my left hip down away from my belly. Good, full rib cage breath, heart-centered breath here. And then bring your knees to the middle, take the knees to the left, press the right shoulder blade back and down so that you're twisting through your waist, but you're also stretching across your chest and strengthening the backs of your shoulder blades. full deep breath. Come back to your back, your heels lined up with your sitting bones, your arms next to the sides of your body. Press your shoulders, your heels, and your head to the floor and lift your heart up. Take a couple of breaths here. Think about lifting from your heart lift up, and stretch out through your knees as you press your shoulders back and down. Take another big chest breath there. And then exhale, slow lower your hips and return to resting butterfly. The soles of your feet together. Wrap your arms across your body. Give yourself a good squeeze. Switch sides. And we're just going to rest here for one moment before we continue on. Stay with your breath. And then from here, roll over onto your side, and we're going to return to our knees for one more kneeling pose. So if you want to use your blanket, get that back out. And then let's stay on the left knee and take your right foot forward. Press down through your feet and legs. Bring your hands to your front knee. Use your abdominal muscles, and you're lifting up and your tailbone rooting down to bring your body more upright, and then reach your arms up over your head. From here, bring your left hand to your lower back, or reach it back for your left heel. That's pretty tricky. So this is gentle, this is a little more challenging. And then arc back and press your right shoulder blade back. Nice deep chest breath there. Release, stretch your right leg towards straight, and then exhale, hinge and forward fold. This pose, I have a lot of issues with this pose. So this pose is good to use a block, or to really allow yourself to stay more upright. And the reason I have issues with this pose is that a lot of times I'll see students rounding from their lower back, and you don't get the fullness of the hamstring stretch, and you can also strain your lower back a little bit there. So starting from a more upright position, and then true hinging from your hips, gives you the optimal stretch and takes care of your spine and everything inside the spine, right? And your nervous system runs through your spine. All right, we're gonna take those two on the other side. So right knee coming back and down. Bring your hands to the ground, let your hips soften and hinge forward. Take a couple of breaths here. Press down through your front knee, bring your torso upright, stretch your arms up overhead. And then your option to bring your right hand to your lower back and curl back a little more, or reach all the way back there for your right heel and stretch your left arm alongside your head. Lift your heart, find your breath. Good. Come upright, stretch your left leg straight. Hands on hips and hinge from your hips to come to your forward fold. Stay with your breath. So I just want to demonstrate, and if you look at my form right here, I'm really getting a great hamstring stretch, and I'm strengthening my back muscles. I can come down, but I feel like I am not actually getting the optimal hamstring stretch at that point in time, and I also can't breathe as well. So even though I can do harder forms of postures, I don't always. For me, a lot of it really is really feeling that sense of moving, the energy, circulation, your lymph. Okay, we're gonna take another extension on this side, and then we'll go back and do it on the other side. So we're coming back to low lunge. Keep your right hand on the ground, sweep your left arm up, twist through your waist, stretch open from your heart, about shining your inner light. So if the world feels dark right now, let yourself be a light. And then if you want to, you can go in a little deeper. If you don't want to, you can just stay where you were. Wrap your right elbow outside the left knee, press your palms, twist through your waist. Find your breath. Bring your right hand back to the floor. Walk your left foot just a little more forward, and then bend your right knee, and with your left hand, reach back for your foot and twist open. Press your foot backward first, and that'll help open your chest a little bit more. Now you have options. So you can stay here. If you're on the more flexible side, you might come down to your elbow and now pull your right leg in towards you as you twist. Find your breath. Good, nice, gentle, easy release. And then we're switching sides. Right knee forward, left knee is back and down. You're coming into low lunge. Open body twist, left hand on the floor, right arm circles up. Find your breath. Wrap your left elbow outside the right knee, palms pressed, hug your belly back, twist through your waist. Unwind, left hand back to the floor, bend your right knee, reach back with your hand for your foot, push your foot back so your shoulder gets a stretch back. And then maybe come down to your elbow, maybe press your heel towards your hip. Keep the right shoulder rolling back. Exhale, release. We're gonna take a wide-kneed child's pose. So big toes together, but then your knees as wide apart as they can go. Hips back and down, stretch your arms forward. If you'd like to, you can cross your arms and let your head rest down. Take a moment to pause. Several full deep breaths here. Again, with this sense of bringing your energy back into balance by creating a pathway for you to release those things that have been making you feel fearful, doubtful, fatigued. And as we clear out those things that make us feel limited, to think about breathing new energy in, breathing new life in. Perhaps new pathways for creativity, new learning ventures and opportunities. So allowing yourself to soften here, letting go of the heaviness, letting go of the hurt, creating an opportunity for you to have some space simply to breathe. All right, from here, we're gonna roll over onto our backs, and we're getting real close to finishing now. Laying on your back, cross your right ankle over your left knee. Hug your left leg in towards your chest if that's available for you. Fine to keep the foot on the floor, or you can use your block for a little bit of an in-between. My hips are pretty loose. Sometimes I need a little more than this posture, and I'm very conscious about regular pigeon these days. I'll save that for another day. If you know me, you know why. But I'm gonna come take this kind of reclined pigeon version, so you can pull your right shin a little closer and wrap your arms around your shin. Make sure you keep this ankle flat. And then you can extend the left leg out. Now I'm gonna keep the left leg up a little bit, so even though that takes effort, what it allows is for me to keep my pelvis neutral and for my back not to tip into an arc. So I'm gonna hold that for a moment. Then I'm gonna keep my knee high, so my pelvis, so see if I put my leg down, my pelvis tilts that way. So I'm gonna keep the knee high, but bring the heel down, and then I'm gonna hug into my core and then press from the belly through the leg, through the heel.
So I'm hugging the right leg in as I extend the left leg down and out from the hip. Hugging left leg back in, cross your right knee over your left knee and drop your legs to the left. Stretch your arms wide out to a T. Turn your head, look over your right shoulder. Full deep heart breath there. We're coming up to take the other side. Left ankle over the right knee. Maybe the right leg hugs into your chest. Maybe it stays on the floor. Full deep breath. I'm going to work through that extended series. Some hugging the shin and close. Extend the leg up and out and really working my low abdominal muscles so my back doesn't drop into an arch. Then I'm going to press the heel down, hug the core even stronger, and press from my hip through the knee, through the heel. Full deep breaths. So the posture sets you up for release, but then it's really the breath that allows that release to happen in different parts of the body, the nooks and crannies. I'm bringing the right leg in, cross the left over the right, knees drop to your right. And then you can turn and look over your left shoulder. Full deep heart breaths. Feel your natural rhythm and flow. Reminding yourself that nothing ever really stays the same. There's always a certain level of change. We just happen to be moving through some really big changes very quickly. Allow yourself as much as you can to go with the flow. Unwind, take a couple rounds of windshield wipers. Hug both knees into your chest, lift your head and shoulders up and press your forehead towards your knees as long as that feels good in your body. Let your head rest down, stretch both legs towards straight, circle ankles, wiggle toes. Bend your knees, and one more time, give yourself a big cross-body hug where you cross your elbows and find your shoulder blades, and then just wiggle, snuggle, rock a little side to side to release between your shoulder blades. Inhale, big stretch out to the sides with your arms. Cross your arms the other way. Curl in, rock gently side to side. Stretch it back out. Extend your arms and your legs. Reposition your limbs so that you feel very comfortable. So arms out to the sides at a comfortable distance away from your hips. Your feet a comfortable distance apart from each other. Feet and ankles can drop open. Let your eyes close. I'm going to hold you here in relaxation for just a couple of minutes. Letting yourself rest deeply into this posture. As you're resting, you might take a moment to do a bit of a body scan. Allow yourself to feel for the places that you might still be holding tension, anxiety, fear, doubt. All those qualities are important at times because they activate us. They get us moving, they propel us into action. But certainly they can get overworked and then they wear us out. So in this moment, as much as you can, to let go of those things that prevent you from really feeling your best.
Come back to the awareness of your breath. If we're stressed, we tend to breathe quite shallowly, short, high breaths, high up in the lungs. And if we breathe that way for a very long time, our chest muscles, our rib muscles, back, neck, shoulder muscles can get really tight. So I just want to invite you to really lengthen out your inhale, so you don't try to breathe hard, you just breathe longer. Longer in through your nose. And then let it be a audible exhalation out. A few rounds like that. And if you're at home and you have time, maybe practice Shavasana a little longer. You know, it's said that the ideal Shavasana is 10 to 15 minutes. We probably did 3 or 4. So feel free to stay there a little longer. If you feel ready to get up and move on with your day or evening, just stretch your body now. Put your arms up and out. Maybe take a sweet smile onto your face. Hug your knees into your chest. And then let yourself roll over to one side or the other, doesn't matter which. And gently press yourself up to sitting. When you come up to sit, you might just take a moment and move your head and neck around a little bit. Head, neck, shoulders. And then let's bring our hands together in front of our hearts. Let your eyes close again. Just take a moment to be present with the qualities of peace, contentment, clarity, that you might just even have an inkling of, right? Like it might not be the majority. Hopefully by the end of this practice you feel a little more of that, but allow yourself to be conscientious of the bits, peace, contentment, ease. In our yoga practice, we work with a word called santosha, contentment, soul contentment. And even though conditions might not be perfect, there's a level of okayness with things, with yourself, with your world. And for whatever little sparks of peace, contentment, happiness, joy that you have, imagine just fanning those little sparks a little more with a focused, concentrated breath. So think about how fire feeds on air and oxygen. So ignite the light of your heart here. Feel a sense of warmth and gentleness. Have a sense also of how light softens things, how heat softens things. So if we've been very contracted or very resistant in our lives to how things are, to our relationships with people or things or work in the world, to allow there to be a little light that shines out from within, helping you to feel a little softer, a little gentler, perhaps a little more graceful and capable to go with the flow as we release the tension that binds us. We'll finish with one more Om, breathing out through the nose, back in. Returning to your breath. See if you can keep that long, fluid breath up for a good long time. Bow your head towards your heart. And we'll finish there today. Namaste. It's nice to be with you in this way. Hope that you're doing well. And as a reminder, I'm coming here from Shine Yoga in Cincinnati. Our website is www.shineyoga.com. And if you've caught this as a free class on YouTube and you'd like to support our work here, please visit our website and you can make a donation. Have a great night, everybody, or day, whenever you're taking this class. Namaste.